Hey there, Stampers. This is Sherry Roth with Stamped Treasures. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada, and welcome to what was supposed to be a live, but for some reason I was having some glitches this morning and it wasn't working. So I thought I would just quickly film the video and then upload it to YouTube. So I apologize if you're waiting for me to go live, but today we are going to create using the Love and Courage stamp set from Stampin' Up! So this can be found in the September to December 2025 Stampin' Up! Mini catalog on page 4. This set was designed for anyone affected by breast cancer to honor both those fighting cancer and the people who stand by them. However, I'm going to show some ideas or share some ways that you can use this stamp set for anyone who's fighting any type of cancer, and also even just for everyday cards. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, before I forget, I should mention that $4 from every one of these stamp sets sold, Stampin' Up! Will donate $4 to support the fight against breast cancer. All right. Okay, so I've combined this stamp set with the Sunflower 3D embossing folder, which is a fabulous embossing folder. Actually, so fabulous, it's not available right now. I think it's sold out a number of times. We just can't keep it in stock. But more are due in, so watch for that if you don't have it yet. It's a beautiful big 3D 6x8 embossing folder. It gives so much texture to your projects. It's absolutely stunning. This is an embossing folder that even when it retires, I don't know if I will get rid of it. It's just so great. And I love sunflowers. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this first card, the first two cards are pink. But remember I said that you could create these cards for anyone fighting any type of cancer. So you can simply do that by changing out the color. So there are a variety of colors that stand for different types of cancer. So you can switch out the color depending on the type of cancer. So my card base is a piece of thick white cardstock, and then I've taken a piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock and I've embossed it using that beautiful sunflower embossing folder. And we're going to take some Flirty Flamingo ink, and we're going to make this stand out just a little bit more by just adding a little bit of Flirty Flamingo to the raised parts. So I'm just kind of going around and I'm applying just a very light pressure. And it just makes some of those raised bits pop a little bit more. So can you see that? So pretty. And then we'll set that aside to dry. And then I've got a piece of white cardstock here. We're going to bring back our Flirty Flamingo ink, and we're going to bring in this image. I love this image. So it's got words on half and then this beautiful sunflower image on this half, on the other half. So we're just going to ink that up with some Flirty Flamingo ink. Stamp it down. And look at that, so pretty. And then we're gonna die cut it using the largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, actually our mini machine. So while I'm doing this, I should mention a couple great things that are happening right now and some things that are coming up. So first of all, we have got a fabulous starter kit deal on this month. Actually, there's 2 options for the starter kit. If you have a really long wish list, which most of us paper crafters always have a long wish list, then purchasing the starter kit is the best deal. So right now here in Canada, when you sign up to become a demonstrator with absolutely no obligation, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do what I do. You can purchase option 1 of the starter kit, where you get $165 worth of product of your choice. So that can be a combination of product from the Last Chance list, which just updated. It could be from the mini catalog. It can even be brand new pre-order product that isn't going to be released to customers until November. So it can be any combination of those. You can choose kits, you can choose whatever you'd like. Basically anything that can be purchased can be added to a starter kit. So $165 worth of product, and you will only pay $48, and there's no shipping and no tax added to that. So that is an amazing deal. And then on any of your future purchases, you get between 20 and 25% off. So fabulous deal. Option number 2 is you get to choose $252 worth of product. So that is, again, it can be any combination of anything that can be purchased, and you only pay $135, no shipping and no GST on top of that. So it's a fabulous deal. I will post in the description below a link to where you can sign up on my Canadian team. I've got team members across Canada. We do monthly team meetings. We do lots of fun things. So we would love to have you join us. So I will post a link to that below. I had mentioned that the last chance list was updated. So there's several items that have been added to the last chance list. They're only available while supplies last. Many of them are discounted, so you might want to check that out. The advent calendar, which I have talked about in the past, it can be added to your starter kit, which makes it an even better deal. That is still available, again, while supplies last. And then starting on October 6th for 3 days, we have a kit collection sale. So any of our kits from our kits collection are going to be on sale from anywhere from 10 to 30% off. So you can watch for that. And there's 3 fabulous new kits that were just released. So I'm excited to see those discounted a little bit. All right, so I went ahead and I adhered this embossed layer to my card base, and then I added my circle. Here I've got some ribbon. This is, I believe this is retiring ribbon. It is called white woven ribbon. So, and I always love white ribbon because you can color it if you want a different color. But I've taken some flirty flamingo twine, which is retired. This is from my stash. I've been trying to use products from my stash. I know many of you appreciate that. Then I just wrapped it around here and tied a bow. And then I'm just going to take a couple mini glue dots. So again, you could recreate this card in any color. All right, I've got that. I'm going to trim this little piece here. And then I'm going to add some embellishments. So I was looking through my stash to find something that I hadn't used a ton yet. And I found the Starburst sequins. They come in fresh freesia, crushed curry, and white. So we're going to use the white on these. These are also on the last chance list. I actually didn't check to see if they were discounted, but they usually are when they get added to the last chance list. So you can grab these at a discount as well. All right, so there is the outside of our card. And then this is kind of a little wonky. Let's just adjust that. And then we're going to stamp the inside with some Memento ink. And it's going to say, "Friends don't let friends fight cancer alone." So we're going to stamp that on the inside. And there we go. And there is card number 1. Actually, and we can also stamp our envelope. So let's grab our envelope, our flirty flamingo, and this beautiful stamp. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. And I'm going to ink this up. And I'm just going to stamp the half with the sunflower kind of at the bottom of my envelope. And there we go. We've got a matching envelope. So pretty. All right, so there is card number 1. Moving on to card number 2. Let me just put this away here. Okay, we're gonna do another pink one. So I went through my patterned paper and I was looking for some pink pattern paper. Pink is not one of my favorite colors. I don't use a lot of pink, but I happened to find this. This is from the Unbounded Love DSP, which is also on the last chance list. It's got like or Unbounded Beauty, sorry. It's got like a pink and orange background, and because it's subtle, we can actually stamp on it. So we're gonna bring in one of the stamps from the stamp set, the Hope stamp set, and we're gonna use some Pretty in Pink ink, and we're gonna stamp the background. So this is the card that we're gonna make here. All right, so we're just gonna ink this up and stamp it a few times here. I apologize for all the shadows. It's a little dark in here this morning, so I needed to turn on my light. And when I do that, we get so many shadows. Okay, so I'm just kind of stamping it randomly over the page. And I'm stamping it off of the page as well. This makes it look like it's intentional, like it's pre-patterned paper cut down to size. So we've got that. And then here I've got a piece of white cardstock that was cut using one of the dies from the traditional labels. This is a die set, super versatile die set from the mini catalog. It's available as a bundle, traditional labels bundle, where you get some Christmas greetings to go with it. But the die set is standalone. Like, you can use it with anything. So obviously I'm not using it with Christmas greeting. I'm going to use it with this stamp set that we're using today. So I'm going to use this middle die right here, or I did use it, and we're going to ink up the greeting that says it's okay to not be okay. Let's move this out of the way. We're going to ink it up with Pretty in Pink, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my basic black Stampin' Write marker, which is on the last chance list if it's still available. This is the only one of our markers that I'm sad to see go. I don't use my markers a ton, but I do love my black Stampin' Write marker for this purpose specifically. And then I'm just going to give it a huff, and I'm going to stamp it so that it is on the right-hand side of this label. So now we've got that two-tone look. All right, and then we're going to bring in a scrap piece of white on this little heart, and we're going to stamp 3 of these. Okay, we're going to use that again, but first I'm going to take my larger piece of white, and I will have a link to today's blog post, which will have all of the measurements for these cards that I'm sharing today. So I'm not going through all the measurements. Okay, so I'm going to use that same greeting, and this card is a landscape card, so I'm going to make sure my inside layer is landscape. Stamp that in the center, and then we're going to add some hearts to the inside layer as well. Okay, so now we've got all of our pieces stamped. We're ready to start assembling. So I'm going to take my DSP and I'm going to add it to this layer of white. I can't remember if I mentioned this Unbounded Love, or Unbounded Beauty, sorry, is this DSP is on sale. It's on the last chance list. I think it's regular $17, and I think it's on sale for $11.90 or something like that. All right, and then we'll fold our card base. And we're going to add this to the center. Our card base is a piece of Pretty in Pink. So, and again, you can switch out the color for this card. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of seal adhesive, and right here, I'm just going to add a strip. and I've got some pretty and pink ribbon. So this is, it was on the last chance list, but I checked this morning, it has sold out. So unfortunately this isn't available, but you could use a white ribbon as well, or you can color your ribbon if you've got Stampin' Blends, the pretty and pink Stampin' Blends. You could use some white ribbon and color it, or you can use a different shade of pink as well. It doesn't have to be exactly the same shade that you're using. Okay, so I just trimmed that a little bit. This is gonna go on here like this, and then this is gonna go on using some dimensionals. We're going to pop that on there, and that is probably a little bit too far over. Let's slide it over this way a little bit, and then we'll pop this down on here like that. And then these hearts, I fussy cut them. I went ahead and did that before so that you wouldn't have to watch me fussy cut. And we're just going to stick that one on there like that. I'm going to use a dimensional for one of them. So that's going to go on there, and then we'll put this one on flat as well. Okay, and then we're going to bring in some of those starburst sequins. We're going to use the white ones again. I think these would be really cute if you added like a little rhinestone in the center of them as well, because they've got this really pretty kind of starburst pattern, I guess, hence the name. All right, then we'll add this piece to the inside. You could add some of this matching DSP to your envelope flap. You could stamp some hearts on your envelope to create a coordinated envelope, but there is card number 2. All right, now card number 3, we're going to do something completely different. We're switching out the colors, and I'm going to share an idea where it doesn't have to be something like, it can be used for a birthday card, or I'm going to turn it into a thank you card. It can be used for anything. So we're going to do a crushed curry base, and I've got a layer of white here that I've gone ahead and I've embossed. Look at that texture, so pretty. Okay, and we're going to start by splattering this piece. So let me just move these layers over. We're going to splatter using some black Stampin' Blend. And the brush tip, you can see I need to replace my black Stampin' Right marker. It's very well loved. So I'm just going to give it some tap here so that I get a beautiful, nice, fine splatter. And we're going to go around the edges and distress it. Just looking for my snips. Here we go. And distress around the edges. When you are distressing around an embossed layer, you do want to be careful because it tears a little bit easier because you've broken some of those fibers down for that embossed texture. So just be careful with that. I just embrace the tears if I do get some tears. Sometimes I purposely add tears to my cardstock because I feel like it adds a lot to your project. I'm going to take the upper right-hand corner and kind of curl it down a little for even some more added texture. This is going to get added to a layer of black cardstock, and then that is going to get added to our card base. So let's go ahead and do that. Card base this time is a piece of crushed curry cardstock. Okay, so that's going to go on there. I love the yellow with the pop of black. Just apply pressure all the way around and then add this. On there like that. All right, now we need to do some stamping. So we've got our inside layer. I've got a couple pieces of white. We are going to go back to this image. So I'm just going to give this a quick clean because we're going to use it in a different color. take that off, I'm going to bring back my strap. I'll set those aside for now. Let's cover our glue. Okay. All right, so we're going to bring this piece in. We're going to bring in some crushed curry. And I'm going to ink up just this side with the sunflower. And I'm going to stamp it twice. And if you get a few words, it's okay because it's going to be cut out. Let's do it this way. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to do the inside. So we are doing a landscape card again. So I'm going to ink this up, and I want to add one maybe on this side. And then I'm also going to do some stamping on my envelope. So I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to start kind of in the center. And I'm going to do a little border across the bottom. Okay, isn't that pretty? Such a great way to decorate your envelope. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in this little scrap and our black Stampin' Right marker, and we're going to use this greeting that says, "Thank you for supporting me throughout my battle." However, I'm just going to use the word thank you. So this is where you can bring in different greetings. So you could turn this card into a birthday card or a thinking of you card, or you could really turn it into anything. So I'm just using the brush tip and using this right on my stamp. I'm going to give it a huff. Make sure my thing is straight. And stamp it down. And I'm leaving some space on both sides because I want it to be a little bit longer. Now I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. We're going to trim this down a little bit. So let's put this in here. We just want it to be a little bit narrower. Oh my, I need to change my blade. That basically just shredded my cardstock. Okay. So tidied that up a little bit, and then we're just going to angle cut this. So again, I'm going to leave a little bit of space here and then also on this side. So we'll angle cut those two ends. Set aside our envelope, and we can add this to the inside. I'm not going to do anything else to it, although I could add a little bit of splatter to it just to bring the splatters on the inside. You could add splatters to your envelope as well. So that's going to go in here like that. All right. And then these need to be fussy cut. So I've gone ahead and I've done that. And I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of curl this up. Just curl the ends up so that it gives my flower just a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to add adhesive just to kind of the center. We'll just eyeball this. So just like that. I think that looks about the center. We'll do the same with this top piece. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap in between. You're not going to see that. That's going to get covered over. All right, and then this is going to go on using some dimensionals. Just like that. And then I've got a piece of black and white gingham ribbon, which is retired. It retired a little while ago. That I've wrapped with some white twine. You could use black ribbon, you could use yellow ribbon, you could use white, you could color it in, lots of options there. So just use what you have on hand. Oh, here they are. Just looking for my mini glue dots. We're just gonna take a couple mini glue dots and add them on here. I think this is one of my favorite ways to use ribbon, is just to kind of fold it over and then wrap it with some twine. Okay. And then we're going to bring in some of these dots, and this time we're going to use the yellow ones. All right. And there is card number 3 with our matching envelope. Let me bring it back, the second card. So then we've got this one, and we've got our first card. Here's the matching envelope to that. Or did I do this one, or did I do this one for this? I think I did it for that. I didn't stamp the first envelope. Okay, so there we go. There are 3 card ideas using the Love and Courage stamp set. And just a reminder, when you purchase this stamp set, Stampin' Up! Will donate $4 to support the fight against breast cancer around the world. And I will have a link to all of the supplies that I used in the description below, and also a link to the blog post where you'll find measurements and photos of these cards as well. So thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I will see you next time. Take care.